The warmth in the room felt almost suffocating. The laughter, the clinking of glasses, the smiles of friends and family, all of it seemed like a blur around me. Was about to do it. I was about to stand in front of everyone I loved and tell them that the woman I wanted to spend the rest of my life with had said yes. I felt my chest tighten with anticipation, the words ready to spill out of my mouth. To make it official, to claim Emily as my forever. Everything had been leading to this. I glanced over at her, the woman who had made me believe that love was enough, that we had everything we needed. Emily was radiant, as usual, but there was a slight tremor in her smile that I couldn't place. For a moment, I wondered if maybe she felt the same way I did, the overwhelming sense that this was the start of something perfect. But then, her eyes flickered toward the crowd. A nervous dart across the room that I couldn't quite interpret. I shook my head, trying to brush off the nagging feeling that something wasn't right. Maybe it was just pre-wedding jitters, but when I looked back at her, her eyes were still scanning the crowd, and her breath seemed shallow, like she was struggling to hold something inside. I felt my heart skip, a crack in the perfect image I'd painted in my mind. Something was wrong. Before I could think any more about it, Emily suddenly stepped back from me, and for a split second, I froze. The words I'd been rehearsing in my head, the words that were supposed to be filled with excitement and hope, suddenly felt heavy, like they could shatter if I spoke them. And then she was walking toward Adam, my best friend. The man who had been by my side through everything, my brother in all but blood. He looked just as stunned as I felt, frozen in place, unsure of what was happening. The room around us fell into silence, like the world had just held its breath. Emily? I finally found my voice, though it sounded weak, almost foreign to me. She didn't even glance back. When she reached Adam, she took his hand in hers, a soft tremble in her fingers that betrayed the calmness of her face. My stomach twisted painfully. I wanted to say something, to stop her, but the words felt like they were stuck in my throat. This couldn't be happening. This wasn't real. And then she turned to me. Her eyes were wet, glistening like she was holding back tears, but there was something else in them too, a truth I didn't want to see, a truth that crushed everything I thought I knew. "I'm sorry," she said, her voice cracking. "I've always loved Adam." The words hit me like a slap, my breath caught in my chest, the ground beneath me tilting. I didn't hear the murmurs from the guests or the awkward shuffling of feet. I didn't hear the sound of my heart breaking. All I could hear was her voice, echoing in my mind, and the devastating realization that she wasn't the woman I thought she was. I felt dizzy, like the floor had dropped out from beneath me. She walked away without another word, leaving me standing there, frozen in the center of a room full of people who couldn't possibly understand what had just happened. How could they? How could anyone? I couldn't breathe, couldn't move. And then someone, one of the guests, I couldn't even tell who, muttered something about the engagement being called off, but I didn't hear that either. The world had become a muffled blur. The only thing that mattered now was the hollow ache inside my chest, the cold, gnawing feeling of betrayal. I looked around, but the room didn't feel like it belonged to me anymore. The people didn't feel like they belonged to me. I had to get out. I turned, my feet moving without thinking. My heart was pounding in my ears, my hands shaking, but I couldn't stay. I couldn't be in that place, not with her absence suffocating me, not with Adam and Emily's secrets spilling out into the open. I rushed out of the venue, my breath coming in ragged gasps. The night air hit me like a shock, and I didn't know where I was going or what I was running from. I didn't even know if I was running toward anything or just away from everything I had thought was real. The only thing I knew was that I couldn't stay there. I slammed my hand against the steering wheel as I drove, the sound of the engine roaring to life filling the silence around me. The streetlights blurred past in a wash of yellow and orange, but they couldn't keep up with the flood of thoughts racing through my mind. The humiliation, the disbelief. It was too much. Was this really the end? Could everything we had just be gone? The road stretched out in front of me, dark and endless, and for the first time in what felt like forever, I wasn't sure where I was going. But something inside me whispered that maybe this was the beginning of something else. Maybe it wasn't the end, but the start of something unknown. I wasn't sure if I believed that yet, but I couldn't stop driving. I can still hear her voice in my head, echoing like a broken record, replaying over and over the words I never thought I'd hear. I've always loved Adam. I'm trying, really trying, to make sense of everything that happened at the party. It felt like I was in some kind of twisted dream, where the ground was being pulled out from under me and I couldn't do a damn thing to stop it. My mind is spinning, looping back to every moment with Emily, every conversation, every touch, every look, questioning whether any of it was real. Was she ever really mine? Was any of it authentic? Or was it just a carefully constructed illusion built on her need for control, for validation? I wish I could just shut it out, but I can't. It's like my mind has become a trap, a never-ending spiral of doubt and hurt. My chest feels heavy, like I'm carrying the weight of 1,000 unanswered questions. Was I enough? It's a question that circles around over and over because deep down, I wonder if I ever really was. And if that's true, if she could just turn and walk away from everything we were, then what does that say about me? It's not even the betrayal itself that stings the most, though. It's the fact that I feel like I've failed. I failed as a partner, failed as a person, and now I'm standing here alone with no answers, just this unbearable emptiness. The life I thought I was building with Emily, gone. The promises we made, broken. I don't know who I am without that dream, without her. But the rage comes too. I feel it bubbling up inside me, thick and hot, burning every inch of my skin. How could she? How could Emily betray me like this? And Adam, God, Adam, how could he, the one person I thought I could trust, be the one to betray me too? All those years of friendship, all those late nights, all that support. And it was all a lie, a game. I want to scream, to break something, but all I can do is sit in this mess of confusion and pain, wondering if I'll ever feel whole again. It's not even about them anymore. It's about me and whether I'll ever get back to being the person I was before this mess. Because right now, I don't recognize myself. Every time I close my eyes, I see Emily's face, her apology, if you could even call it that, and it only makes me question even more. What did I miss? I wish I could turn it off, pretend that I'm okay, but I can't. I ran into Olivia by chance. I didn't expect to see her, not now, not when I'm barely holding myself together. She's standing there, leaning against the doorframe, arms crossed, that look in her eyes, the one that's so direct it's almost uncomfortable. For a moment, I forget what I'm even doing here. The noise of the world fades out, and I'm just stuck. Hey, she says, her voice blunt as always. It's jarring in the silence between us. You're still standing, huh? I can't help but laugh, though it comes out like a cough. Barely, I mutter. She steps forward, her eyes studying me, like she can see right through the mess I'm trying to hide. You know, she says slowly, her voice softer now. You don't have to pretend with me. I shift uncomfortably, shrugging. Not pretending, I say, though I don't know if I'm lying to her or to myself. I'm just trying to figure things out. She gives me a look like she knows exactly what that means. She knows exactly what I'm going through because she's been through her own version of it. Maybe it's not exactly the same, but I can feel it in the way she's watching me. Like she's waiting for me to break, to collapse into her and let her pick up the pieces. She's never been the type to sugarcoat things, and I don't know if I'm ready for her kind of honesty right now. But something about her is grounding, like she's a safe harbor in the middle of a storm I don't know how to navigate. You're not a failure, Lucas, she says, her voice steady and strong. You're just hurt, and that's okay. The way she says it, like it's simple, like it's something I should already know, makes something in my chest twist. I'm not a failure. I want to believe that, but I don't know how to. Thanks, I whisper, not knowing what else to say. Her words don't fix anything, but they don't need to. She's not trying to fix me, she's just here. And that's more than I can say for most people right now. As the days drag on, I find myself seeing Olivia more often. It's not planned, and I'm not sure if it's good for me, but it's happening. She calls sometimes I call her. It's like we form this unspoken agreement. No expectations, no pressure. Just talking, just being. It's strange, but it feels necessary. She doesn't ask me about Emily, she doesn't ask about Adam. She just listens when I talk. And for the first time in what feels like forever, I'm not constantly analyzing every word someone says to me, wondering if it's just a mask hiding something worse. Olivia doesn't hide anything. She doesn't try to be perfect. She's raw, real, and unfiltered. I feel it when she's with me, and for the first time since everything shattered, I find myself leaning into it, letting her take the weight I can't carry anymore. Bosa, I don't trust her fully, not yet, but I trust her enough to keep talking, to keep letting her in. But there's something else too, something I can't quite put my finger on. She's too perfect, too present. She's too good at being exactly what I need. And that makes me nervous. There are moments when she looks at me or says something just a little too pointed, that I wonder if maybe there's more to her intentions than just kindness. But I don't want to think about that, not now. Not when I need to believe someone, anyone, is real with me. I know this is hard, she says one night, her eyes meeting mine, but you need to know, whatever happens, it's not on you. I nod, but the knot in my stomach tightens, because even if I know she's right, I'm not sure I'm ready to let go of the guilt. There's a part of me, maybe the part I'm still trying to bury, that still holds on to Emily, the memories, the good ones. The moments when she made me feel needed, wanted, those moments haven't disappeared, even though I know now that I was living in a world of illusions. The guilt eats at me when I'm with Olivia, when I feel her warmth beside me, when I catch myself laughing with her in a way I haven't laughed in months. I feel like I'm betraying Emily, even though she's the one who's already betrayed me. But Olivia is different. She's honest in a way Emily could never be. She doesn't try to manipulate me. She doesn't pull away when I get too close. And yet the guilt is there, constant, growing. It's hard to move forward when the past is still holding on to you, when every step toward Olivia feels like a betrayal of the love you thought was real. And then there are times like tonight when I can't help but wonder if Olivia has her own reasons for being here, being close. She's too comfortable with my pain, too willing to listen. And when she talks about her past, her eyes harden just a little, like there's something she's not telling me. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's just me overthinking everything again. But there's a nagging feeling that I can't shake. What does Olivia really want from me? I'm not sure I'll ever get an answer. But I can't keep ignoring it either. For now, I'm just going to keep moving forward, one conversation at a time. But even as I do, I can't help but feel like I'm walking on a tightrope between two worlds, and I'm not sure which one is going to break first. I stand at the edge of everything, the weight of the last few weeks pressing down on me, crushing me, until I feel like I'm barely breathing. The pain of Emily's betrayal lingers in every corner of my mind, and now the pull of Olivia's growing presence in my life is almost suffocating. I can't keep going like this, stuck between my past and whatever the hell this is with Olivia. Lucas, Olivia says softly, her voice breaking through my thoughts. Are you okay? I blink, trying to focus on her face, the concern in her eyes. I can't pretend like I don't feel something when I look at her. I've been trying to bury whatever it is between us, whatever it could be. But I can't do that anymore. It's not fair to her, and it's not fair to me. I need space, I tell her, the words slipping out before I can stop them. I need to figure things out, Olivia. She doesn't pull away, but her expression shifts. There's a flicker of something in her eyes. Surprise, maybe hurt. But she doesn't argue. She just watches me quietly like she's waiting for me to explain. And I want to. God, I want to explain everything that's been swirling around in my head, but I don't know how to make sense of it myself yet. I'm not trying to escape, I add quickly, my voice tight. I just need to know who I am, outside of everything that's happened. Outside of Emily? Outside of you. Her gaze softens. I get it, she says, her voice barely above a whisper. Take the time you need, Lucas. Just don't shut me out completely. I nod, but I can feel a crack forming in the fragile wall I've built around myself. I want to tell her that I don't know if I can keep my distance, that I don't know if I can walk away from what's been happening between us. But the truth is, I don't know anything anymore. I only know that I have to figure out who I am before I can be with anyone, whether it's her or anyone else. I turn away from her, my heart heavy in my chest, and walk out into the quiet night, hoping the cool air will clear my head, but it doesn't. Later, when I finally think I'm alone with my thoughts, Olivia surprises me in a way I wasn't expecting. She calls, her voice hesitant at first. Lucas, she begins, her tone more serious than usual. I need to tell you something. I brace myself, not sure what's coming. The vulnerability in her voice pulls me in, makes me listen even closer. She takes a deep breath before continuing. I've I've always been drawn to you, Lucas, she admits, her words almost too quiet to hear. But I never said anything. Not because I didn't want to, but because I respected your relationship with Emily. I kept my feelings to myself for years, even though it hurt. The weight of her confession hits me like a punch to the gut. I sit down, my legs suddenly feeling weak. I thought I understood what was happening between us, but now, hearing her say this, it's like everything shifts. I had no idea, I murmured, my voice barely above a whisper. I thought you were just being kind, being there for me. I was, she says, softly. But I was also trying to convince myself that I wasn't waiting for you to fall apart, that I wasn't hoping for a chance. She pauses, letting her words sink in. I didn't want to be your second choice, Lucas. I didn't want to be your rebound. The truth of it stings, but it also opens something inside me, something raw. For the first time, I realized just how much of my own pain has been tied to feeling like I've always been second choice, second place, to Emily, to whoever I've been with. And now, I'm faced with the same fear again. Am I Olivia's second choice too? I never thought of you like that, I admit, my throat tight with emotion. I thought you were just trying to be a friend, someone who was there. But now I'm wondering if I've been leading you on without even realizing it. She's silent for a moment. Then, with a softness I didn't expect, she says, I don't want to be a distraction for you, Lucas. I'm not here to fix you. But I care about you, and I always have. I needed you to know that. Her words hang in the air between us, and for a long time I can't speak. I'm too caught up in everything she's just revealed. Her feelings, my own tangled emotions, and the truth that's staring me in the face. I've been living in a fog, never really seeing what was right in front of me. Olivia isn't just some comforting presence. She's been carrying this for so long, and I've been too blind to notice. The realization cuts deeper than I expected. I don't know if I can do this with her. I don't know if I can let go of everything that's tied to my past with Emily. But I also know that if I don't start confronting my own fears, I'll keep running in circles, never finding peace. I sit alone in the quiet of my apartment, replaying everything in my head, Olivia's confession, my own fears, the fact that I've spent so much of my life being the person others needed, but never truly knowing who I am beneath it all. It's like staring into a mirror and not recognizing the reflection staring back at me. I've spent so much time trying to be enough for Emily, trying to hold on to something that wasn't really mine. You should shut up. I've allowed myself to be defined by her love or lack of it. And now with Olivia, I realize something even harder to accept. I've been chasing something outside of myself, validation, love, without ever learning how to give that to myself first. I'm not just hurt by Emily's departure. I'm hurt by the way I let myself get lost in her, in our relationship, in life. I thought we were building together, and I'm still carrying the weight of it all like it's mine to bear alone. But it isn't. I don't have to carry it anymore. I wish I could say I'm ready to walk away from it all. Olivia, Emily, the past. But I know I'm not. Not yet. Because the truth is, I'm still scared. I'm scared that I'll never be enough for someone. That I'll always be second. And even though Olivia says she doesn't want to be my second choice, I wonder if I'll ever feel worthy of being anyone's first. And then just when I think I'm starting to understand myself, I get a call. It's Emily. My heart stops when I see her name on the screen, and I almost don't answer. But I do. Lucas! Her voice comes through, hesitant but real. Need to talk to you? I owe you an explanation. I freeze. The weight of her words sinks in before I even hear the rest of it. I don't know if I'm ready to hear this, but part of me needs to. And when she speaks again, it's not what I expected. I wasn't just leaving you for Adam, she says, her voice tight. I was leaving because I needed to prove something to myself. I couldn't keep living the life I thought I was supposed to live. I was stuck between two versions of myself, one with you and one with him. The truth is, I wasn't sure who I was anymore, and I needed to figure that out. I'm sorry, Lucas. I'm so sorry. The confession knocks the wind out of me, and for a moment I'm speechless. It wasn't just about Adam. It wasn't even about us, really. It was about her. About Emily trying to find herself. I don't know if it makes things better, but it makes them different. I finally understand that her leaving wasn't just a rejection of me, it was a rejection of a life that wasn't hers. And maybe that's why I've been so lost, because I've been holding on to something that was never really mine to begin with. But I don't know what this means for me, for Olivia, for Emily. All I know is that I'm standing on the edge of something, and the choice I make now could change everything. I have to choose. And I don't know if I'm ready to. But the truth is, I'm going to have to decide soon. Because at this moment, it won't wait forever. The silence is almost suffocating, and I can't escape it. Emily's absence hangs heavy, and every time I close my eyes, I see the wreckage of all my choices. Everything that's happened, all the decisions I've made, they don't make sense anymore. I've been scrambling to hold on to some semblance of control, but I can't ignore the fact that I've lost myself somewhere in all of this. Olivia's here, though. She's been here, quietly waiting for me to come to terms with everything, but she hasn't pushed me. I think that's what makes it different this time. She's not forcing anything on me, not demanding that I heal faster than I can. She's just there, like a steady presence, helping me sort through the wreckage of my past choices. Do you want to talk about it? She asks one evening. Her voice soft, careful. She's always careful with me, like she's afraid of breaking something fragile. I shake my head. I don't even know what to say anymore. I'm not sure if she expects an answer, but she doesn't press. She just stays by my side, watching me as I dig through old memories, old texts, old photos, all the things I thought would bring closure. Instead, they just leave me feeling more lost. I'm not asking for anything, Lucas, she says one day, her voice barely audible. I'm just here. I'm not going anywhere. I don't know why, but hearing those words from her somehow makes the pain feel a little more bearable. She's not offering some magic cure, some quick fix. She's offering space. Space to breathe, to heal at my own pace. And for the first time in a long time, I don't feel like I have to rush. I've been trying to figure out how to let go of Emily, but it's harder than I thought. I thought that if I could just stop caring, if I could forget the good times, the little things that made our relationship feel real, maybe it would hurt less. But it doesn't work that way. The truth is, I don't know how to stop caring about someone who once meant everything to me. But I'm learning that letting go isn't about stopping the hurt. It's about making peace with it. You don't have to let go all at once, Olivia says one afternoon as we sit together, a quiet moment passing between us. It doesn't work like that. I turn to her, surprised by the tenderness in her voice. But how do you move on if you're always looking back? Olivia looks down for a moment before answering. By not looking back anymore. By choosing to move forward even when it's hard. You don't have to erase your past. You just need to find a way to live with it. I sit with her words, letting them sink in. I know she's right. I can't change what's happened, but maybe I can change how I carry it. It's not about forgiving Emily right now, though maybe that will come later. It's about forgiving myself for not being enough, for allowing myself to be caught in the web of someone else's choices for so long. The emotional weight of everything still lingers. But Olivia's presence feels different now. It's not just about comfort anymore. I've started to see her for who she is, someone who has her own battles, her own pain. She's not a savior. She's just there. And maybe that's enough. Maybe that's all I need right now. Our relationship, if you could even call it that, has taken on a new shape. There are no grand declarations between us, no promises of forever. We don't need them. We're both healing, both figuring out what we want and what we don't. And in that shared space, we find a connection that feels genuine, rooted in mutual respect and understanding. No expectations, no pressure, just two people who have been broken by their pasts, learning to piece themselves back together at their own pace. Sometimes I wonder if Olivia sees me as I see her. I wonder if she's been waiting for me to see her too. She's not here because I'm a broken man who needs fixing. She's here because she genuinely sees me. Not the version of me that's been patched up for others, but the real me. I'm lost, confused, and trying to figure out how to move forward, and that's the difference. She doesn't pity me. She understands me. She doesn't need to save me because she knows I'm capable of saving myself. It's that understanding that starts to shift something inside me. My grief, my anger, my confusion, it all begins to feel less urgent. And somewhere between these quiet moments, I realize that the only way I can truly move on is by letting go of my need for validation. It's not about being chosen. It's not about being first in someone's heart. It's about knowing that I am enough on my own. I don't need Emily to tell me I'm enough. I don't need her to validate me or explain why she left. I don't need Adam to apologize for taking the place I thought was mine. What I need is to let go of the grip those things have on me, to stop waiting for someone else to tell me I'm worth loving. Thus, I'm letting go of the past, I say to Olivia one evening, the words coming out slower than I expected, like they've been waiting for me to say them for a long time. It's not easy, it still hurts, but I'm ready to move on. Olivia looks at me, her eyes soft but knowing. I'm proud of you, Lucas. It's not about forgetting, it's about making room for something new. I look out the window, the city lights flickering in the distance. For the first time in a long time, I feel like I'm standing on solid ground. I've been carrying so much weight for so long, resentment, regret, guilt, and now it's like I'm finally free to stand up straight. It's a quiet kind of freedom, a freedom that comes not from erasing my past, but from learning how to move forward with it. I'm no longer clinging to the idea that someone else's love is what makes me worthy. I'm learning to find that worth within myself. And when I see Emily and Adam together, it no longer stings. The anger has faded. There's no more bitterness. I see them, but it's like looking at two strangers. I don't need them to apologize or explain themselves. Their path is theirs, mine is mine. There's a moment, standing in the middle of this emotional fog, when I finally see things clearly. I can't change the past. I can't fix the broken parts of me that I tried to fill with other people, but I can choose how to walk forward. And for the first time in my life, I'm choosing to walk alone, not because I have to, but because I can. Olivia's still here. She's been here. But I don't need her to be my everything. I'm learning to be. As I stand on the edge of this new chapter, I take a deep breath, feeling the weight of everything I've been through and everything I'm about to become. It's not an easy journey, but it's mine, and that's enough. I take the first step forward, unsure of what comes next, but knowing it's the beginning of something real, something that's mine. And that's all I've ever needed.